Hello, I think we're live. So welcome to the Quantum Human Revelations Monday podcast. I'm just going to get everything set up a moment. So that works straight away on YouTube, which is nice. But I never know if I can see the comments. We'll have to wait a moment to see that. So tonight I'm going to be talking about Earth energy. So have you guys felt a powerful shift within this last couple of weeks? Maybe since the summer solstice, not the solar eclipse, I should say. Have you noticed something that's like a momental awakening, like a momentous awakening that's just starting to stir? It might not be fully recognized. It could be seen as drama or tears or some other sort of shifting, but can you feel something shifting? So welcome everyone, I'm Trudy. So I've got some people on Zoom with me and I've got some people on hopefully commenting on YouTube. When I see the comments come up, I'll know that's working. So yeah, on Zoom, I'm getting some, yes, something definitely shifting, which is nice to know. So I'm just asking the question as we're waiting for people to join us. Have you felt a powerful shift within? Like something momentous is awakening? Like there's a start of something new bubbling up to the surface, that something is just feeling a little different. Now, it could feel positive or negative. It doesn't matter which way you're feeling at the moment, but just have you noticed that feeling that something is bubbling up right now? So I felt both positive and negative. Yeah, I think that's how I'm feeling it as well. It's like there's something, feels like something new is coming in, but there's also that kind of grief of losing something or that uncomfortableness of not showing how it's going to show up or what is happening. So that's cool to get feedback on. That's good to know. So tonight we're going to be talking about earth energies and the shifting earth energies. It's quite interesting that the energy of May is very much a earth orientated reading. It's been quite consistent that all of the questions that I asked came up as the challenge and the strength and the advice and the next steps were all in the earth category. So that's going to be quite interesting to see how that's going to play out during May. I'm determined to find the questions here, the comments, but okay. So if anybody is on YouTube ready, then please do send me a message so I know that I can speak with you guys there. No, it's not playing today. Okay, so let's get started anyway. So what we want to be able to talk about today is the May energy, and we've just had a Scorpio full moon as well. So that's what we're working with at the moment for May energy. So I want you to think about where in your life have you noticed transformation coming up, and where are you noticing this shift of some form? Because obviously, whenever we get a shift, then we're talking about transformation. So we might be entering a time of, it feels like the impossible is going to start becoming possible. That's the kind of theme for this month. Now, that's not an easy task, okay? So let's get started. Welcome everyone to today's live podcast. So welcome to those on Zoom and welcome to those on YouTube. So we're going to be diving into the transformative energies that are affecting our planet and exploring what I'm seeing as this activation of the Earth gateways to access more of the ascension energy of the planet. And this is kind of being combined with an energy of purification and clearing on a planetary level as well. So some of the purification that I'll be talking about today is some of the black magic clearing that I've seen going on, some of the access to the resources we need for manifesting. I'm seeing quite a lot of shifts there to help almost make it easier for us to now start manifesting things. But we have to connect to those new earth energies. The one thing I keep saying, throughout all of the podcasts that I've done is that we can't just be sitting, waiting for the energies to come to us. We have to raise our vibration up into them. So regardless of what any energy readings you're hearing from whatever source, that energy is there. But the question is then, what are you doing and how are you transforming and changing to meet that energy? So have you guys been noticing this Scorpio-Pluto energy this month? We've just had the Scorpio full moon. Have you noticed anywhere in your life where things have started to start wanting to change? Because transformation goes hand in hand with change. If you want a different life, you have to change what you already have to become more vibrationally aligned with the life that you want. Now, the Scorpio full moon that we just had was quite tough because Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. And of course, Pluto's just moved signs in January. So we're in this kind of new boss, like Pluto's moving into its next 20-year cycle. And it's like the new boss. It's clearing out. It's trying to find all the mistakes or the secrets of the business to get them all brought to the surface to clear them so it can start afresh. Now, because that is what Pluto's doing, when the Scorpio full moon came in, I did expect it to be a bit more drastic. But I think if some of us have been working with Pluto energy since January when I first mentioned it, then we might have found this transformation wasn't quite as drastic as we thought. And in fact, what we started to notice was that the Pluto energy was actually suggesting that we could work with our transformations in a different way. So if you've heard me talk about Scorpio before, we know we've got the Scorpion resisting kind of approach, the eagle, the Phoenix, which last year we were really focused on tapping into the Phoenix energy of helping burn things away, knowing that we had the power to build it back up again. But now we're starting to move into this concept of the butterfly transformation. So thinking instinctual. And I think this really fits on an evolution level, because if you think about how our bodies know to evolve, and I think I've seen some science this week of some new amoeba kind of activity that have been creating new life, that they've been transforming and evolving in a way that's not been noticed on the planet before. They're saying not been seen, but I'm sure it's not been noticed. So when you see that kind of amoeba shifting and altering based on the current environment, you know, we've got to understand that that is how Earth evolved. All the Big Bang through the primordial soup, all the way through, it was an evolutionary change that got us where we are today. And that was instinctual. It wasn't somebody sitting down and trying to genetically engineer something. This was an instinctual change. And I think that then fits really well with the energy of May, you know, being very earth focused. So tapping into that butterfly energy of how we can be more instinctual in our transformation and putting trust in our bodies that they know how to handle the changes that are happening all around us right now. So how does that feel? Like, how would that feel to be that butterfly? Can you release, surrender, flow, and become more free in how you kind of, your body knows how to work with the planet, how to work with its resources, and how to manifest? What would that look like for you? So we got liberating on Zoom. And I think it is, there's this element of this kind of moment where we just let go and just surrender to the process. And you've got to, you know, there's that famous saying that says, who are you to try and control your life when the universe is governed in such a way without man interfering that it just manages itself, you know? Yeah, still not getting the questions on YouTube. I wonder why it doesn't want to do that. I will keep trying to get hold of you guys on YouTube. I will keep trying. But to keep things moving now. So what this means is that we're going to have new ways to manifest. And that means we have to revisit our old ways and change them, transform them, so that we can make more of an impact into preparing to birth the impossible. That's the energy that we've got for May. So I feel that there's going to be a lot of opportunities this month to work with Earth intelligence in a new way, to work with resources in a new way, and for us to, when we take action, to have a very satisfied kind of feeling that it's progressing, but only if you're able to read the signs that are available to us. So in terms of what we can expect for the rest of the energy this month, then it's about this purification and this activation of this new Gaia gateway. Now, I don't know if any of you guys know of the Gaia gateway as a chakra, and it's not something I've kind of worked with. It's something I'm familiar with, I guess, but it's not something that I could describe. They described it as a wormhole, but I couldn't see it that way. But I do know that I can tap into the different dimensions of the planet. And I've noticed that even though I've normally spent a lot more time in the cosmic kind of activations, that it's been showing me much more of the history of the Earth and the things that it's been doing from the Big Bang evolving up to now. And I think that's all part of helping us step back into trust and surrender that we're meant to be here on this planet, and there are great things for us to do if we can tap into that. So the first thing is learning to transform as a butterfly and allowing that instinctual God instinct that's within us that we spoke about last month to become more of our natural way of being, to allow us to consider ourselves as evolving at this time. And then it's about how can we now look at the Earth in the same way? How can we upgrade that God instinct of the planet and how we look at Earth and her multidimensional intelligence? Because it's through this Gaia gateway that we can access the information we need then for the ascension process. The way it was described was kind of like it's the thing that connects the heaven on Earth. It's that sort of channel. You could think of it like an internet connection. It's that thing that brings in the internet heaven and Earth so we can access it. The problem that I've had, though, is that this kind of work is new. I think there's lots of ways and modalities out there that talk about it, but none that I could connect with. So I did some testing with my group, and we all tuned in to see how we could see this multidimensional aspect of Earth. But it's really interesting because each of us saw something different. And I think that's really important for us to know, because if we don't accept that we're all unique with unique ways of doing things, we're going to often think that we can't do something because we can't see it the same way as someone else. So it's really important that we can tap into that part of trusting that we have our unique way to see what we need to see when we need to see it. That's a lot of C's. So I did also do, I had a client healing over the last couple of weeks. There's been a couple of them really. And in one of them, we actually saw a wormhole. And in that wormhole, we saw a lot of black magic polluting it. So I didn't know what the wormhole was. We just ended up removing the black magic. But it was only afterwards when I was tuning into May's energy that I saw how it was partly implicated in what we were talking about this month. So I thought that was quite interesting, because we think of black magic as something negative, but it seemed like it was a corruption and that it could be corrected. And I see this a lot now, that there's a lot of dark manipulation energies that can be cancelled out just by changing the way we approach it. Instead of being frightened of it and resisting it, if we can embrace it, then we might find that there are, like, every challenge comes with a solution. And if we can embrace what's being laid in front of us as being for us to work on, then we can find new ways to actually progress, to work with it and make it better and fix it even. So one of these examples was I was working on disease and pestilence, because I have ME and chronic fatigue, and I've been working on trying to release that. And in the process of working with that energy, and it was the archetype was a goddess, a Finnish goddess of disease and pestilence. I always try and work win-win with other entities and deities and consciousness, because I see them all as consciousness. And I just simply asked her, rather than being the goddess of disease and pestilence, would she be interested in being the goddess working with the plants and the animals against GMO and bioengineering? And she obviously asked what that was, and we had that conversation so she could understand what was happening and what we were doing. And she was quite happy to shift herself into that role, because she understood diseases, and she seemed quite content that that was a new possibility. And that kind of got me thinking, well, how many other consciousnesses that each of us communicate with could we have that conversation with and upgrade them with what we're doing in the world right now, and then find ways for them to help? Because, we call on them for help, but the Earth's moved on, it's evolved, everything's evolved. So we need to start looking now at new ways of communicating with deities and consciousness or fairies or whatever you work with, whatever your tool is for communicating with this consciousness, and see if there's a more peer-to-peer way to process this now and help work together, basically. And that's all we're talking about, is working together, really. So what does that bring for people? Does that bring anything to the surface? Does that make you think of something you can do differently already? Like ways that you can help clear the earth energy? Ways perhaps you can just dissolve black magic, vows and contracts for yourself? Ways to connect to this new earth wisdom that's coming up and actually now become more like of an assistant to the earth, as opposed to always asking the earth to help us. Becoming energy alchemists for transmuting the energy so we can bring heaven and earth together. So that's quite a big shift in how we handle what we see about the earth. So thank you. I've just got a message saying somebody's left a message on YouTube, but I still can't get to them. I'll try again quickly. While you're thinking about how could you be different on earth? Hey, I think I've got it. We've got chat. Let's try. Yes, Jenny's saying hello. Chance is saying you're on YouTube. Is it just in live chat mode, which is different normally to comments mode? I don't know. I think what happens is they update their community standards, and then I have to click a button, but that button doesn't come up when you go live, and I don't know where it lives beyond that, but now I can see you. So hello, Charles, and hello, Jenny on YouTube. Got you. Fabulous. Okay, so we're talking about those earth energies and how we can now work more as co-creators with the earth and the energies that we've got available. So the other thing we spoke a lot about last month was this creating an inner sanctuary to connect to the God within us. And it's interesting, again, that the preparation for this month was the mudra for the prayer mudra, where you put all your fingers together, hold it at the heart. And you can use this as a means for helping you connect more deeply into the heart and into the sanctuary within your heart. So you can imagine now, like just close your eyes, go into your heart, imagine creating a little sanctuary space in your heart. Imagine there being all these little tiny candles that represent love, compassion, forgiveness, your God spark, instinct, transformation. And just imagine these little lights all lighting up. And then as you stand there in this space or sit, just close your eyes and just allow that emptiness, that space to give you messages on what you can do this month, how you can work with these new earth energies and these new activations. And just ask questions, simple questions like, how can I serve the earth? What does the earth need from me? Start flipping the script to see what you can offer. Because I find that when you serve the earth, sometimes it actually pays you back by serving you and helping you heal in ways you might not have considered. So how are you feeling there, tuning into that sanctuary, into your heart? Because often when we do this, what we're doing is we're praying to a God outside of us. But what I'm asking you to do is to connect to the God within you instead. And just to feel that power of connecting to your heart sanctuary. Feel that connection to your divine union through silent spiritual devotion. Just find that inner connection to that God within you that'll allow you to connect to the earth in new ways. And you're just asking your heart to speak its truth, and you're just sitting and waiting to receive, allowing the answers might come in lots of different forms. So bring yourself back now, bring your awareness back. Did you guys get any insights or truths coming through your heart now from that experience? Were you able to connect to your heart? That's the first question to ask. And then if you were, did you get any insights from that? Because as we move into this chaotic world of change and transformation all the time, we've got to get really, really good at becoming quick to change, to pivot, to finding and discerning our own truth, to carving out our own path, to creating our own understanding, because there's going to be so many things trying to disrupt that. It almost feels like, again, this goes back to evolution. You can imagine that everything that's happening to us now, this fire that we're all going through, is part of the thing that's necessary to help us reforge our physical self, our minds, our body, our spiritual practices, our energy into what is needed, this new human, this quantum human that's needed to keep working successfully in this environment in the future. So the other aspect of the reading, which is quite interesting as an outlook, is that we need to be careful of what food we're eating and to attune the food to our highest frequency. So it's hard to know if this means that we've just got to eat better, but I think it depends on the individual. If you're not eating well, eat better. If you are eating well, you might need to consider how you can energetically charge your food and change it to be more aligned with who you're evolving into. It might be to do with the way you approach food, your mindset about food. But the biggest thing is to pay attention to your diet this month and watch how the energy of food affects your energy and your confidence and well-being. And like I said, one of the interesting things on diet was, again, before I did this reading, I was working with the goddess of disease and pestilence to help reject GMOs and bioengineering. And I believe that we can ask our body to return to its original DNA blueprint, even if there are contaminants in our food. I think that can still happen. We can intend it, we can support it, and just connect to it. Okay, so on the sanctuary, I tried it and it felt buzzing afterwards. Yeah, that sounds good because that's you connecting to that inner God within, and that should feel a vibration and a buzz. That's really cool. So that's sharing from Zoom. Thanks. So watch out for your diet. And again, it's going to be different for each person. So I can't just say your diet is going to impact you. You're going to have to be the detective and become spiritually responsible to find your own truth regarding food and diet and what you need to do to help your diet grow and evolve as your body's evolving in this new earth wake-up energies. So the challenge we're going to have this month is going to be about obedience again. Now, we did this back at episode 2, and it's about us walking our divine calling as quantum humans. So again, evolving. We're evolving into this new being, and it's challenging us to obey ourselves, even when there's no external proof or approval. Because if you're a futurist, you're going to be walking a path that's not already walked. Now, obey sounds a bit dodgy, and if you listen to episode 2, you'll hear me talk more about that. But it really just means to listen to yourself or listen to your soul. And to do that, you need to trust yourself and you need to trust in divine timing. And that's one of the places that we're all weak at. When we start working with spirit and intuition and our higher connections, we don't always trust it because it's not always clear what it's offering us. But if we can, it's going to lead us to our authentic selves, and it's going to lead us to manifesting this big impossible dream that we all have. It'll help us learn the new skills that we need. It'll help us go through the transformation that we need. But it's scary. So think of what spiritual practices you need to build now so that you can obey more of your calling to step up and be bigger. Be a sacred rebel to break through the 3D illusions and to create some new future. You know, you need a lot of courage for that. So think of how you can tune in to the courage and trust and confidence. Now, on my YouTube, I have loaded up some videos that will help you do an energy changing way to connect. So there's 3 videos. One is a physical one on how to work with the body and reset the nervous system. There's another one for the mind to help you tune into the mind and reconfigure your energy system based on finding what trust, courage, and confidence feels like as a frequency, and then learning to cultivate it within you. So they're already on my YouTube channel for you to follow. But the key is we need that if we're going to walk this big, bold path with a lack of approval without fear. And the strength to help us with that challenge is actually Taurus and standing your ground. So we've just had Jupiter and Uranus moving into a new 13-year cycle in Taurus that we haven't seen since 1941. So it's quite a long gap before it comes back round. It's going to be here for 13 years. But Taurus is all about managing our resources, our health and money. So all the tangible action parts of us, which again is very earthy and encouraging us to step into that earth approach to, it's very well kind of connecting spiritually and bringing in energy, but now we have to channel it through our bodies and into physical action and physical things. Now, I don't mean like businesses and products. It could be new family protocols, new ways to work with your family. It can be new ways to manage your money. It could be new relationships, which is, I'll come on to in a moment because that is coming into the advice a bit. So the key is that your heart kind of knows how to do this. Your heart is that connection between your heaven on earth. You've got the Gaia gateway as its connection between heaven and earth. And it's now about through the heart, through the sanctuary that we just spoke about, to learn how to connect to that energy so you can learn how to apply it in your everyday. And this is how we become the quantum humans, able to walk in chaos and walking in the unknown boldly. So what new financial worldview maybe are you here to create? We sometimes think that it's other people who are responsible for these things, but you can actually take your role and help with that too. Even if it's some sort of swapping agreement that you have with somebody else where you swap services, or maybe you grow vegetables and you start sharing those. There's other ways for us to start altering the way that we pay for things or altering the value of money, mindset issues. There's ways we can individually start working within with our money issues that will then ripple out to others. So remember, when we talk about money, what we're really talking about is your own value of yourself, of your skills, and how worthy you feel to receive money in exchange for it. So make sure that those things are also kind of balanced as well. So the key thing here is with this Taurus energies, we've got lots available for us to use, again, if we're willing to look for the signs and learn how to use them. So how do you guys feel about your worthiness? Are you exploring anything to do with finances at the moment? Are you exploring anything to do with abundance? Have you noticed anywhere in your lives where this has kind of like popped up as either an issue or a challenge or just an observation in your life? Have you seen those signs hinting to you that there's something to be done with money at the moment? Oh, wow. Big yeses, exclamation marks. So remember, it's on your path, even if it's a world issue that's become known to you. It means that you've got some secret skills to fix this. You just got to work out what that is. That's one thing I love in the membership. We spend time doing this and digging in and finding stuff. And we learn so much more about ourselves using external factors as mirrors to who we are. So just notice how that's showing up for you at the moment. And then the advice for this month is really weird. Now, I'm not a partnership coach. I'm a transformation coach and a soul purpose coach. And I help people connect to their higher dimensional skills and connect to their higher self and channeling and help translate their dreams. Because I think the people I work with are all natural at doing this. So they need a slightly different approach than being taught how to do it. They just need to have like an awakening process and a taking you back to your original blueprint type process. But I've never, out of the last 2 years where I've been doing the readings like regular, had a Soulmates reading before. And yet that's what the advice for this month is Soulmates. So this could be, again, this was one of these readings that I said, it wasn't like a global thing because there wasn't one thing. It's going to be unique to each of us, which is, again, asking you guys to be more spiritual responsible and tune into your abilities to connect to your heart to see what soulmates mean to you. Now, soulmates are about calling in a complementary union into your life. Now, it can be romantic, but it doesn't have to be romantic. So on Zoom, I go, yay! But unfortunately, it's not always romantic. It could be business, friendships. It could be a group getting together for some agreed contract we agreed in a past life. So it's really important to know that it's not always romantic because sometimes it can become our goal in such a way that we forget and get distracted from our soul purpose. So the main purpose of Soulmates is to help each other learn and evolve through experiences together through multiple lifetimes. So this could be something that may not still be relevant anymore even. So when you meet somebody this month, if you get this kind of like, oh, I really feel like they know me, they're in my head, I'm thinking about them all the time, I'll just give you some warning about that before we get you all too excited. So it's important to understand the person might feel like that, but it's still not a romantic relationship for you to have. So that means that you might think that they're in your head and they're there, but it still doesn't mean it's a romantic relationship. So be discerning and check that it is meant to be a romance. These feelings can sometimes be psychic attacks. It's possible as empaths and sensitives that when we think of somebody, it's somebody else's energy being forced into our minds to make us think of them. So again, don't use that as a sign that this is your soulmate and this is some romantic connection that you need to make. Because the last thing we want with romantic connections is for them to steal our energy when we're trying to get on with this big, birthing this impossible thing. So beware of energetic manipulation as well as it being a possible soulmate energy exchange, and really discern. And again, we use body testing to ask these questions because sometimes it's not so obvious to check. So know that sometimes when you look at somebody, you might feel that soul connection, and it could be memories of a previous lifetime. But the person in front of you now in this lifetime is not the same. They're not the same mission. They're not on the same purpose. They might not have the same intentions towards you. You might have a different contract this time. It might have been experiencing love last time, but it might be experiencing lies this time. But sometimes as empaths and sensitives, we see their light, and we can get easily confused and think that they're meant to be for us now in this lifetime like before. So it's easy to get that mistaken. So we have to be really careful as multidimensional sensitives which dimension we're seeing that person from. So this is a huge topic. I'm not going to go into detail. So I'm just giving you some like warnings about this now. So know that your experiences with your soulmate are a mixture of having experiences for unconditional love, unrequited love, loss, independence, cooperation, learning to cultivate mutual growth. That's the whole point of a soulmate. Is it's quite a big requirement for the two souls to help grow. It's not about having a happy, blissful, sunny kind of existence. It's about evolving. And there are things like we can have mystic marriages from previous lives impacting this lifetime. So some of the contracts and vows that we made in the past on our soulmates can be blocking us meeting our romantic lover in this lifetime. So I'm curious to see how this is going to start showing up for people, and to see how we all, well, what experiences we'll have. So please, if you're watching this, put comments in the, describe what you've experienced in the comments, and then I can tap in and see what's been going on for everyone. So I think one thing we all have to be aware of is there's going to be some healing needed then to resolve some of these energetic contracts. That might be the first phase, depending on where you are on your journey. And some of these could be sexual encounters, so we can learn more about our sexual lives, learning to clear past life relationships. Yeah. So just be aware that there's some aspects that we need to be responsible on, I guess, and look after ourselves and do some healing on first. So oh yeah. So how's this different to a soul tribe? So a soulmate is just a one-to-one match, whereas a soul tribe is more of a group. So so a group is going to have more of a joint purpose together. So you could consider that everybody in my membership is a soul tribe working together to something, whereas a soulmate will be more of a one-to-one relationship, which could be mistaken as romantic, or it could go deeper on intimacy, vulnerability, and love as well. So you saw someone else going through this, relating to this now. I think, if you're watching this now, at least maybe you can now offer this advice to other people who might be going through some romantic kind of challenges now this month. So I've got some comments on YouTube. So Judy's saying that she's noticed money stuff is popping up everywhere for now and changing all sorts of ways that you're using money. Yeah, I did see a couple of things pop up on YouTube and Facebook, and different ways people are changing their use of money, which I'm quite excited about. So the first thing you need to focus on is your own union with yourself. So that prayer into your heart, connect to your God spark. the better you are at integrating all of your parts without hating on yourself, without beating yourself up, the more balanced and whole you are, then the deeper your physical intimacy will be with somebody else. Because if you're looking for intimacy because you have a black hole, then that's not going to work. It's not going to be balanced. And once you've got yourself whole, you'll have this pathway opened up for more complementary relationships. So get to feel that inner love of yourself, that buzzing feeling, as somebody on Zoom said, Jenny, I think it was, said she got buzzing when she connected through the prayer into her heart. So if you're going to be exploring external soulmates, like I said, be careful that the energy you're noticing isn't past life, isn't old contracts, and just allow for the fact that you might have decided to meet up again for some really tough challenges. But again, that's for you to know that the challenge has been achieved, you've both grown and then to part and go a different way. It doesn't mean we always have to stay in those relationships. So it'll be interesting to see what heartbreaks or integration we'll be getting this month with intimacy and on a physical level. We're not just talking spiritual here, but we're talking about physical. Everything either this month is earthy. So again, make time for that inner healing so that you can really become aware. Try not to jump into relationships too quickly. Give yourself time to pause, connect to your heart, and just check what's really going on at the moment. So I don't know how many of you are already in relationships, but you might find that this is shifting to a new level. You might find that you'll get to new layers of intimacy or new ways for you to think about how you can grow together. So this could be quite interesting as well. So just start thinking about whether you need romantic, business, or friends, because this isn't just lovers. It could be the friends that we have around us. It could be the people that we've been partnering with. Just allow for all the relationships now in your life to kind of just take a moment and examine them and just check if they are the right relationship for you and if they're doing what they need to be doing to support your soul journey. So that was the advice, which I thought was really interesting. So the next steps then came up as being about sacred play and what's it called? Rare success. So this is what I was talking about, birthing the impossible. So if you think about this big thing that you're birthing now, some of us are here to create things that are probably even bigger than you think you are here to build right now. And that's what this next steps is saying, is we're preparing to move into birthing these things that we're here to do. And it's a very practical thing because we have to now start taking action by working with the energies in a new way and the relationships in new ways to develop this and birth it. So what is your kind of like big why right now? What do you think that you're here to do? It's going to be something unique and precious to you. And it's going to be brought about in a way that you probably can't imagine. It's going to seem like one thing and it's going to suddenly turn into something else. And the only way you're going to be able to navigate birthing this is by following your heart again, because it's your heart that knows the steps you need to take to get through the unknown. If you try and use your logical mind, you'll end up keeping it small and keeping a lid on it when it needs to go off in some random directions to get where you need to go. Because there's a beautiful discovery here for you to embrace in this unknown. So the goddess of the card that we had cultivated a tree, and it took her 3,000 years for one bloom. But that was worth it. It was worth the wait. It was worth the attention because it was a rare success. This flower was immortality. So the question is, you might feel like other people are ahead of you, doing better things, but you are building a palace as opposed to building a deck or a house of cards. So you can see the difference. A house of cards can be built quickly and it can fall down quickly, whereas a palace needs good, strong foundations so that it can become able to grow and evolve then with what humanity is going to need in the future. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the rare success that you're here to birth, and not to give up and to keep persevering and keep connecting to your heart to find out what that is. So guys, while you're there chatting, did you think of any relationships that you wanted to cultivate this month? So yeah, if you're working on your soul vision, you'll be looking for businesses or business connections or clients. You know, that's the kind of soulmate connection you want there. So that's more soul tribe, I guess, finding your soul tribe. So the key thing here is that we have to take the action to start making this a reality without knowing what it is. And that's what the quantum human is all about, is learning how to use our skills to navigate the unknown and connecting to the heart and our soul wisdom to help lead us through darkness effectively. And because this is such a tough journey, the sacred play comes in and says, do it with a sense of humor, find ways to have fun, be a child, because break away all those constraints that you think, be still, be silly, laugh, play, dance, use meditations in new, funny ways, create a state of joy. These are all the tools that we need to help support us as we're navigating these challenges and trying to work out the mystery of what we're here to do. And this will help you also find the courage to keep going when you start getting to the point where you want to give up and you're not sure where you're going. So again, like I said, I have got a video in YouTube for courage, trust, and confidence to help you connect to those frequencies. So how are you going to play, meditate, dance, or what is your playfulness that you think you might need? How can you get back to being that innocent child, the fool, and tapping into that divine child who can make things out of trees into tree houses and blankets into tents and castles, you know? How can you connect into that energy? Lots of laughter. Yeah. I think that's actually, you know, the best way, when you see somebody laughing, especially some of those YouTube videos of babies laughing, you know, and they start laughing, you start laughing, and it's just the Buddha, isn't it? The laughing Buddha as well. You know, once you start getting into laughing, you can't be too serious about things. So lots of laughter. Yes, we'll definitely need lots of laughter. I've been enjoying lots of parrots doing funky things on YouTube videos or on reels. So the thing is, when you're in this playtime, you might feel like you're doing nothing, but you're kind of like nurturing those neurons in your brain to open up into the old childhood fantasy creation kind of method. So you're not actually doing nothing, you're training yourself to connect back to those childhood freedoms of the brain to allow you to come back and remember your big why. So I hope you can start remembering this promise of adventure that you came here as a soul to experience, not just suffering, and this kind of approaching life like King Arthur, looking for your essence to find out who you really are as you're on this search for the Holy Grail, so that you can deepen your understanding of self on this spiritual journey, but also unlocking the mysteries of transformation, the world, the earth, and how physicality works. So if you struggle with any of this and you need help, then you can always get in touch. So you can find me on my Facebook, which is Trudy Marie Williams, or I've got a couple of pages, soul guidance as well. Or you can always email me with whitestarsoulguidance@gmail.com. So I hope if you need help exploring the world in this way, then you'll get in touch. I also have a membership where we get together, we have these kind of games anyway. And please subscribe and ring the bell so that you can notice when I'm putting new videos up like that trust and confidence and courage video, so that you always have something to help you through some of these transformations. And please do continue the conversation in the comments. So thank you everyone for joining me. I didn't realize I'd gone over so much, but it was a lot to share. So I hope you can appreciate what I've said as the new energies. So to wrap up now for today, I'm just going to invite you to remember your big why. And just allow for sacred play when you start hitting those challenges. Okay, has anybody got any questions before I sign off? Because I want you all to start dreaming impossibly big. I want you to go bigger, 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 bigger. And find the people who will support you doing that. So if there's no more questions, thank you all for joining me and your insights and energy today. And I'll be back again the next month for the June energies. I was going to go live next week, but I try to keep it near the full moon. So I'm still on the lunar time frame, so as months, as opposed to the calendar monthly. So it should be at roughly the first Monday of the month. But I hope I'll see you then. Otherwise, I'm just going to join those on Zoom so we can have more of a conversation there and talk a bit more deeply about this month's energy reading. If you ever want to join me on that again, just message me. Always message me then I can send you the link and you can join us on Zoom after these lives on a Monday. So I'm wishing you all a impossibly big May, where you learn fabulous new ways to work with money, that you learn to connect to the earth wisdom and to your own inner instinct to be a butterfly through transformations in May. So I'll say good night now. Bye, guys.